And the thing about trends is that sometimes they can be very contradictory. So today is use oils, use butters, use this. Tomorrow it will be no oils and no butters. Today it will be no poo, no shampoo. And tomorrow it's gonna be you have to shampoo, you have to go twice in it, got to get all of that dirt out, all of that. I mean, are you going to be able to do all that? Are you? Hey curlies, welcome to my channel. We are going to be talking about the 5 mistakes that are common that I made, that you probably made too, that could make or break your hair. And basically, whatever mistakes I made that I figured out that were harming my hair because of my kind of hair type or porosity, I'm going to be sharing with you guys so you don't get to make that same mistake. I mean, how amazing is that? So, as you can see, I haven't got my makeup on. So, this is going to be like a kind of a chit chat video where I do my makeup and I get my edges lit and make my hair look great because right now it's just boring. So, no talking. Let's not talk too much. So, the first thing that I would say that could make or break your hair is trimming your hair with regular scissors. I thought as long as your scissors are new, as long as your scissors are new and they're not overused, it's fine, right? It must be sharp, and that's the criteria. And criteria, is it criteria or criterion? Oh, can't tell. Right. So one of the things that you need to look out for when you're trying to trim your ends yourself, not at a stylist. I thought as long as it's sharp, that is fine, but obviously not. While you're trying to trim off your split ends, I'm assuming that the reason you're trying to trim your hair is because you're trying to get rid of them split ends, okay? There has been so many reports of how using the wrong kind of scissors can actually lead to you having more split ends. I mean, it's unbelievable because here you are. Okay, let me apply, okay, to myself. Here I was trying my hardest to get rid of split ends, and I was causing more split ends for myself. It beats me every time. Like, I think about it, I'm like, this makes so much sense why people are trimming their hair every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Okay, maybe there's a little exaggeration there, but you get the idea. So many people are over trimming their hair. If you find out why they're trimming their hair too often, it's probably because they're having split ends too often. You should probably check your scissors. Next would be detangling wet hair. See, the thing is, I didn't even recognize how not universal that thing was. Like, everybody seems to be detangling with hair now. It's one of the ways to get faster results in your wash day. You get into the shower and then you start to wash your hair with your shampoo, and then you go in with hips of conditioner on your hair, and then you start to detangle then. And I'm like, that works for some people, but if you have fine strands, honey, I don't think it's for you. At least it wasn't for me, because I was losing hair. But the thing is, when you have fine strands, you don't play with your hair or manipulate your hair. Why am I using the word play? But yeah, you don't play with your hair. You don't manipulate your hair. You don't do too much with your hair if your hair is wet. When it's wet, it's the time to be extra gentle and do as little as possible. And the thing that I the thing that I find very funny, should I say funny, is the fact that everybody thinks that all natural hair rules is for everybody. It's not. If you have thick strands, wet detangling might be your thing. But if you have fine strands, your strands easily snag and break off. They're very thin. It's probably not going to be for you. You should detangle your hair when your hair is at its strongest point. And everybody knows that wet hair is the most fragile hair. When your hair is wet, is when it's the most fragile. I don't care what nobody tells me, that is science. Your hair has a bit more resistance when your hair is dry. So you can manipulate it when your hair is dry and it wouldn't be that bad. Even damp, I'm being like it's a bit okay. But wet, let's move on. Number three would be not clarifying your scalp often enough. Um, this one is a big one. The reason I'm saying this one is a big one is because many people mistake shampooing their hair with clarifying their hair. So clarifying means getting rid of everything. Your natural sebum, your natural oils, dirt, every single thing. Like down to toxins sometimes, and just going all out and getting rid of everything. Basically, just starting afresh. But shampooing your hair, especially if you're using moisturizing shampoos, just take care of they just take care of cleaning your hair of dirt, okay? They don't completely strip your hair of its natural oils. They don't completely strip your hair of, they don't get rid of toxins necessarily in your scalp. It just doesn't give that start over vibe that a clarifying shampoo or a clarifier could do. Sometimes we forget that our scalp is just like our skin. We take a time and use so many things to, we do scrubs, we do either physical or chemical exfoliants. We just take care of making sure that our skin just has that basis to start afresh. That is what clarifying does. And sometimes it can be achieved using certain ingredients. And that is why if those ingredients are there in your shampoos, you're going to see that it's written clarifying shampoo. Okay. So you could go that route and use a clarifying shampoo. Personally, I just like using Clay's. Clay's is just like, because it's like a two-in-one for me. It helps to clump my curls. It can be very stripping, to be honest. So if you're trying to clarify and not just trying to give your hair more definition, make your hair more defined and clumpy, you might want to skip the oils. Rasul clay, bentonite clay, and one other clay. Personally, I just do the two, and then and I put my ACV. That's usually what I use for clarifying, and I do this like maybe once every 2 months. Um, Personally, I mean, there was a time that I was using tons of gels, products, and my scalp. Like, I wasn't just like sticking to one or two products post deep conditioning. I was just using a lot of things in gels and all that. So, if you are like how I was, then if you don't really know how to keep it simple, you might want to be giving your scalp more of a fresh start, even your hair strands more of a fresh start than just 2 months. I used to do it every 1 month. Not recommending 1 month, but I used to do that and it worked amazing. When you clarify your scalp and you clarify your hair, you're going to see the way your hair reacts to products that you put. It's like it sinks in. Nothing really stays on top. And I don't mean like the way it stays on top of dirty hair. Like it just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like everything just sinks. It's just seamless. I can't explain it, but the truth is, if you clarify your scalp often enough, it can actually affect your hair growth. Um, so just what I noticed, you're taking out all the debris, all the dead skin cells, every toxins, all of that, because that's why I like clay. Gets rid of toxins as well. So it's just basically your scalp just has like that breath of fresh air, and the quality of hair that starts to grow from your scalp is different. you notice that if your hair was a bit more fragile-ish, it's gonna grow out shinier. That's it. That's it. It's gonna be shinier. You're going to have less scalp issues too, all that dandruff and all of that. So if you don't medically treat those problems or identify the issues that are causing those problems, they might still persist, but you would notice that your scalp issues will not resurface for a while after clarifying. Yeah, I'm speaking from experience, y'all. It's just a start over. And you have to be giving your scalp a start over often. They deserve it. They have been going through gels, age controls, heavy creams, um, so many chemicals are slapped on those hair day in, day out, and you don't want to give it that start over. You're mean. Really mean. That's what you are. You need to let the hair breathe. Let the scalp breathe, okay? Just just let it breathe. Hmm. I think this is a bit too much. The color is a bit too much. But I'll let it. Um, I would say number 4 is skipping protein treatment. This one is, you know how long it took before I understood that because I'm deep conditioning my hair does not mean I'm giving my hair a protein treatment. It took long, really long. How was I supposed to know? How was I supposed to know? Hmm? When nobody told me. I thought I thought if a deep conditioner says something like it gives stronger hair, softer, more manageable hair, that kind of thing. I mean, it was fine. It's not bad. Uh it's not really a protein treatment. It's just something to strengthen your hair. I rarely ever go for just moisturizing deep conditioners. I personally feel like since I have fine strands of hair, like if you have fine strands, you would notice that our hair just don't have that strength. Like it's just born that way. So if the hair does not have sufficient strength to withstand manipulation, you're not going to retain any kind of length. I'm just telling you this because I've been in that shoe for years, okay? So my hair grows really fast and yet I retain my length slow and steady, true, but emphasis on slow. So that's because my strands are fine. With the way I take care of it, I should be retaining more length. I'm not really seeing that because my strands are thin. So a little thing, they're breaking off and all of that. So I emphasize making sure that there's a balance when you're dealing with my kind of hair, fine strands. I do say that if you have thicker strands, you might want to um, not overdo on the protein treatments because you might end up having brittle hair or hair that is too stiff and difficult to style, and all of that is just so much work. But if you have fine strands, you might want to make it on a 50-50. Once in a while, you need to go in with real protein treatment. And you shouldn't do this too often because real protein treatments are like really heavy on the protein. Like they're really going right there and just do what's supposed to do. And if you don't know what protein treatments are supposed to do, protein treatments are supposed to go in there and fill in those gaps. Your hair sometimes loses fragments of it, and it just your hair just is prone to breakage once it loses those parts of it. It just goes and fills in all of those spots that needs filling in, and it also strengthens the bond in the hair so that it's difficult for it to break off. So I think that makes sense if you really think about it, because your protein treatments actually help with your length retention. Without protein treatment, that would not happen. You manipulate your hair. I mean, you can't just have your hair unless you're on locks, okay? But if you don't, you might want to invest in protein treatments. And personally, I feel like protein treatments, I would say for a person who manipulates their hair too often, if you find that maybe you wash your hair every week and you just find that you are constantly touching your hair, you might want to use a protein treatment once every single month. It's all left to you. Just experiment what works for you, especially if you have fine strands. But if you have thicker strands, that timing would shift a little bit. See, that's the thing. You can't use the standard for fine strands for thicker strands. It's all on a different level. You have to understand the strands that you have and your porosity. So if you have low porosity, you might want to calm on the protein treatments. But if you have high porosity, you might want to go in with the protein treatment a lot more often. So it just varies, okay? But the point is, if you find that you have gone 6 months without a protein treatment, you're wrong. Just invest in it, okay? You will not regret it. I I just I just like there is a lot of things that are degrading our keratin every single day, and the sun is one of them. Even manipulation, even the products that we use in our hair, and you are not replenishing those proteins, you are wrong. So you need to start on it right now, right away. Then the last one in this list has to be throwing away products that work for you. AKA, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I know that this one is a common mistake that almost everybody makes. We figure out what works for us, and then once we figure it out, we just want to keep trying new stuff. It's not a bad thing. It's just I feel like you should only keep trying new things once you have like when you haven't figured out what works for you. If you're not ready that a particular routine is working for you, and maybe your deep conditioning is perfect, you have noticed that there is significant improvement in your hair, and maybe you have stumbled on this after trying for so long, do you really think that it's right for you to drop that and then go try something else and try something else and keep trying new stuff when you've already figured out what works for you, just because that favorite influencer or that favorite YouTuber or that favorite Instagram model says that you should use this, or that's what she used and that was what was working for her? I say no. I call BS. Stick with what works for you. Personally, I feel like so many people haven't stumbled on the things that work for them, but a large number of people too have stumbled on what works for them, but because they weren't consistent, they haven't stuck with that one thing, they have not seen progress. Let's say that routine was working for them, and they noticed that they were able to retain so much length in a year, and they switched it up. They switched things up real quick. You're going to notice that there's going to be a lot of setbacks. You are going to lose all your progress. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So if you are on that trial, just be assured that you are not going to see the kind of improvement you want. And some people just want their hair journey to be filled with experiments, and that is fine. If that's you, keep trying. I mean, that's just the fun of it for you. But some things I stumble on, and that works, like clarifying. I hate clarifying shampoos. Tried it, not for me. Personally, it's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. And I'm not going to just dish it and just try some new clarifying shampoo because I've tried so many of them, it's not working. Maybe there are other clarifying shampoos that could work for me. But I've already stumbled on using clays for clarifying. Would it make sense if I go try something else? I mean, if I go ahead and try something else, there is a chance I'm going to lose the progress that I have already attained in my hair journey. So you have to be prepared. That honestly has been one of the biggest factors for why I lost so much. I gotta draw this. I cannot speak while doing this. That's been one of the reasons why I've had major setbacks, because I haven't been able to stick and be consistent. And you know what? It requires a huge level of self discipline, because you're telling yourself that this is what you want to stick with for years to come. That's a lot. Like, I personally don't have a routine that works for me. I keep switching routines. But you see that clarifying, I don't play with it. So that is my go-to. I stick with that. Anytime I just want to give my curls and my scalp a real refresh, I just hit my reset button with my clay wash. Just hit it, and it works for me. I'm going to keep experimenting when it comes to other things that I haven't really gotten the hang of, or maybe it's great, but I think that there's a possibility that it could be greater. And I just keep trying and I keep experimenting, and that's where you need to experiment. But when you have figured your stuff and you want to dish it so you can try new stuff, I'll be offended in that. Like, if I weigh your favorite deep conditioner and it has worked for you all the time, every other thing does not compare, and you have that, and then you completely let go of that, I will be offended. If I wear that deep conditioner, I'll be mad, and I'm never gonna work again. I'm never working again for you, ever. I think that ties in with the bonus point I want to give. A bonus point would just be stop following trends too much. Like, use your sense. You know what is in trend. If you want to try, you try. But you have to have a limit to how much you jump on trends, because that could be the reason why you're not seeing progress with your hair, because you are constantly following trends. And the thing about trends is that sometimes they can be very contradictory. So today is use oils, use butters, use this. Tomorrow it will be no oils and no butters. Today it will be no poo, no shampoo, and tomorrow it's gonna be you have to shampoo, you have to go twice in it, got to get all of that dirt out, all of that. I mean, are you going to be able to do all that? Are you? Or no matter what trends come up, I know nothing is gonna make me not shampoo. Like, what do y'all think? So yeah, thank you so much for coming to my TEDx talk. I hope you were satisfied and that you enjoyed what you was listening to, because I sure enjoyed talking while doing Get Ready With Me. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I am going to see you in my next video. Hopefully, there's going to be less chatty and we're going to be straight to the point. If this was really boring, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But if you enjoyed this, then love you. Thank you so much. And go ahead and subscribe. Yeah, subscribe, okay? I don't talk about this all the time because I'm like, I don't want to come too hard. But I'm like, if you watch this far, you might as well subscribe and like. Press the like button too. All right, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.